That's Zaniboni. Speaking first will be Eric Peterson. That's Peterson. He is the fire chief for Santa Barbara County. Second up is Jeff O's, OHS, operations chief for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3, followed by Sheriff Bill Brown, Santa Barbara County. After Sheriff Brown will be Rob Lewin, that's Lewin. He's the director for the Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Management. After Rob will be Jim Shivers, Shivers, and he's a representative here from Caltrans. Following Jim will be Captain Cindy Ponce, Pontes. She's with the California Highway Patrol. Then it's Tom Fayram, Fayram, Deputy Director for the Santa Barbara County Flood Control District. And then we have Suzanne Grimesey, Grimmesey, Santa Barbara County Behavioral Wellness. Then we'll have Laura Camp, and that's a question mark actually, but Laura Camp, if she comes, she's the Public Information Coordinator with Montecito Water District. And our last speaker today will be Susan Klein, Klein, then Rothschild, Rothschild. And she is the Deputy Director of the Santa Barbara County Public Health Department. Okay, I got about 5 minutes. Thank you.
You can come over.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want to be on the video. Assemblymember Lamone's going to be here. I don't know if
She is. Yes, thank you. I'm glad.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly, any idea? Right there. Okay, thanks. Yep. So Montecito Water District will not speak today. Laura Camp will not be here. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for coming this afternoon to our Saturday update on the flood and debris incident. My name is Captain Dave Zanaboni. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Santa Barbara County Fire Department. I'd like to introduce Eric Peterson. He's the Fire Chief for Santa Barbara County Fire Department.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to start by giving my sincere thanks to all of the people from all over California who have come such a long way to help us. Our mutual aid system is the best in the world. To all of you in the system, we needed you for the Sherpa fire, again for the Alamo fire, again for the Whittier fire, the Ray, and the Thomas fires. We needed you for this flood, and again you are here. CAL Fire, the CHP, the Office of Emergency Services, FEMA, and all of the city, county, and local government agencies that have, again, come here from long distances to help. All of the incredible nonprofit agencies, the County of Santa Barbara, and especially Montecito, thanks you. And to our locals, my battle-tested colleagues in the area fire departments and law enforcement, and the people standing behind me from the EOC and those they represent. As a proud member of this community, I thank you the most. You have been here since that first terrible morning and the days leading up to it. I have talked to so many of you and heard such stories of rescues made and of hope and inspiration. I have felt the pride and the elation of knowing that your training and planning and skill led to so many lives being saved. And like you, I have felt the heartbreak of knowing that even with all of your skill and all of your training and all of your planning, you couldn't save everybody. No one could have planned for the size and scope of what a 200-year storm immediately following our largest wildfire would bring. This is a strong and resilient community. We have been wounded, but we will heal. Our hearts go out to all of you who have lost the people that they know and love. Many of us knew them too.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Jeff O's, Operations Chief for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3.
Good afternoon. We remain in rescue mode. The secondary searches are complete on those houses that were affected. We have 2,113 personnel assigned, 129 engine companies, 39 canines, 15 urban search and rescue and swiftwater rescue teams, 48 hand crews, and other specialized heavy equipment.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Sheriff Bill Brown, Santa Barbara County.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We at the Sheriff's Office are saddened once again to announce that another victim who perished in this tragic incident has been found. At approximately 9 a.m. this morning, 25-year-old Morgan Christine Corey of Montecito was discovered by search and rescue crews in mud and debris east of Olive Mill Road. Morgan's younger 12-year-old sister, Sawyer, is also among those who died in this tragic event. We ask that you keep this devastated family in your thoughts and prayers and join us in extending our deepest condolences to them. The discovery of Morgan Corey brings the number of fatal casualties from the mudslides to 19 people. You will hear more in a bit about a candlelight vigil that will be held tomorrow where the community can gather to remember and to honor those victims. We are pleased to report that we do not have any additional missing persons cases and that our active missing persons list is now down from a high at one point of 43 down to 5 people. Today we located Delbert Weltzen in Montecito, and thankfully he was found alive and well. Our detectives have done a phenomenal job researching and looking into every tip that comes into our organization as fast as they possibly can. And we appreciate the efforts of the Emergency Operations Center, the call takers from the Sheriff's Office, and the people who are staffing our Family Assistance Center, who are gathering this information and passing it along as soon as possible. If you have a missing person to report, you can contact the Emergency Operations Center at 805-681-5542. As mentioned, we are still actively searching for people, and while every hour it remains less likely that we will find anyone alive, there is always hope. We have more than 1,000 responders from search and rescue, fire, and law enforcement agencies from across the state who went out as teams early this morning into locations where victims may be located. And they are still out in the field as we speak. Many of the search and rescue teams have brought specially trained search and rescue dogs to aid in this search. Crews also continue to find people who are still being evacuated or who decided to stay and are now realizing it is not a good idea to do so. The environment is unstable. There are repair crews clearing the roadways, crews trying to restore utilities, and damage assessment teams who are in the area doing their work as well. It is not a safe or convenient place to be right now. If you have not done so already, we ask that you leave the area, the mandatory evacuation area, immediately. Rest assured that sheriff's deputies and officers from allied law enforcement agencies are conducting extensive security patrols throughout the evacuated areas. We appreciate the patience and the cooperation of the residents in the extended evacuation area who have left and are staying in other places. We know that this is terribly inconvenient. We understand that many of you were previously evacuated. We understand that many had to leave quickly, and some of you would like to go back into your homes and retrieve personal items. We are receiving calls from some residents asking to go back into their homes for items. And if it is a true emergency, we are addressing those calls and those requests on a case-by-case basis. But we ask you to please use discretion when asking for escorts back to your property. We want to keep the area clear for the work crews, and we want to use our limited resources wisely. As we all know, Santa Barbara County is a special place, and we are seeing this beautiful community come together during this terrible time. We have been inundated with calls from people who want to know how they can help and trying to find out where they can go or what they can do. We want to thank, in particular today, the Citrix Company employees who came to the Sheriff's Search and Rescue Office headquarters and cleaned all of the vehicles, the equipment, and the office, which, as you can imagine, were covered in mud due to Search and Rescue's involvement from the beginning and throughout this incident. We so appreciate this act of generosity and kindness. We will let you know, those of you who want to help and do something, we appreciate very much your desire to do so. We remind you that you can donate to the American Red Cross, and your donations will be directly helping those who've been affected by this tragic incident. And another idea, again, that we'll remind you of is to open up your home to someone from Montecito that you may know who doesn't have a place to stay right now. Our local hotels are filled, and it's becoming difficult for people who want to leave the area to find shelter. Again, I would remind everyone that the Red Cross evacuation shelter at Santa Barbara City College remains open and available. And we will again let you know if there are any other opportunities to assist in this unprecedented event. But know that right now, your good wishes, your thoughts, and your prayers are very much appreciated and are making a difference to those of us who are honored to protect and serve the people of Santa Barbara County. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to introduce Rob Lewin. He's the Director of the Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Captain Zanaboni. And Captain Zanaboni, thank you for everything you have done over the last week to demonstrate the strength of our response agencies. I represent the folks at the Emergency Operations Center, 150 strong, that show up every day for 16-hour days with the aim of supporting our first response agencies. The men and women from the fire departments and the law enforcement agencies and the flood control district and the public works department who are out there in the mud and turmoil and under exhausting conditions. We hope, and I believe we have, provided them as much as we can to support them in their endeavor. But our actions are not just about the first response. Our actions are also about preparing for the next rains. Our actions are about preparing to get our communities set up so people can go home, so that businesses can operate, so our economy can turn again. Our job is to do all this, and I'm telling you, every minute of the day, there's not one person in that Emergency Operations Center who doesn't understand the mission that they have, and they do it as public servants with great hearts. And there's a couple people in there that I want to note of special significance. The Red Cross personnel that are in there, and the Red Cross personnel that are all over this county providing help. You would not know that they're volunteers with the way they operate. Every day for 16 hours, there's 2 folks in there that help us, and they work alongside all of us public servants. Let me give you a little update of where we're at on things. Focus for us, of course, number 1, is managing the debris. We have got to get those basins cleaned as fast as we can. And we all, the community and the Emergency Operations Center and FEMA and Cal OES and the Army Corps engineers and our flood control district are focused on that. Because if we don't get those debris basins cleaned out, then we're not going to be prepared for the next storm. And we don't know what that storm is going to look like. So we appreciate that the community understands that we're operating under difficult circumstances, and we're operating under emergency permits to get that done. The channels below those basins need to be cleaned out as well. The channels have moved, and I'm sure our flood control director will talk about it, but we have got to get those channels ready, or we're going to have more mud and flow under a storm that would be of less intensity. We got to get that debris that's removed from these locations moved someplace. And every day we have a debris task force that tries to figure out where that place is. And it's not easy. We're in support of trying to help the Montecito Water District put their system back together. This is a big order for a small district. You've met Nick Turner. He's their leader, and I assure you he's doing it. And we're providing as much support as we can. People from San Luis Obispo County have come down, engineers and construction workers, to help him. People from Santa Maria City and Goleta City and Santa Barbara City and Carpinteria are all shoulder to shoulder with him trying to do that. We're helping the Montecito Sanitation District get underway because no one's going to get to go home if we don't have a sanitation system that works. Cox, Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas, all of these systems are hard at work at trying to get back under conditions. The bridges, the roads, they all need help. And we have a team of people focused on those every single day. Our main mission, of course, is to support the incident, but we also have to think about all the other things that are going on in the county. We have critical personnel that work for varieties of agencies and organizations in our county. They're correctional staff, sheriff's deputies, firefighters, teachers, healthcare workers. We need to get these people to work because they've got a mission. So we're developing a transportation plan that's going to be able to get these people from south of the flooding on Highway 101 and get them to work. And that plan should be underway, we hope, no later than Tuesday. We've got to work on communicating to all of the community on what we're doing. And I can tell you our Joint Information Center at the EOC is strong. Every day, 16 hours a day, they're pumping out as much information as possible, and they're getting contacted from all over the world. The Local Assistance Center will be set up soon. The Family Assistance Center continues. But again, probably the most important thing we do is prepare ourselves, your government, and prepare all of you, the community, for storm readiness. The next storm will come. We don't know what it'll be. So how do we do that? Well, I can tell you since December 10th, while the Thomas Fire was actively burning, the burn area emergency response team and the watershed emergency response team have been on the ground analyzing the Thomas Fire. They've been doing it both in Ventura County and here in Santa Barbara County. These people are incredible. They're scientists, and they're foresters, geologists that come together, hydrologists come together and analyze this ground, and they were providing that information. Normally this process happens after a fire in August, not in December. So they were pressed, and they couldn't complete their report in time for the storm, but every day they were giving us information, and we were processing that information so that we could do everything we could. I think their efforts have saved hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. And now their work must go on. We've asked them to stay and continue to finish the report they started, but more important, to prepare us for the next storms, because the watershed has changed. The watershed has changed because of the flushing that's occurred up in the upper mountains. The preliminary information they're providing us is that there's still dangerous situations in our watershed. There's still debris up there. But together, we're going to be ready for that. Together, we're going to find a way to be able to live healthy and normal lives in a situation that can sometimes be unpredictable. We have to do this together. That's who we are here in Santa Barbara County. We're people, we're a community, and we're going to decide that we're going to make it right and do the best we can to live on our lives in the best way we can. Soon we will be developing a map to display some of the things that will be important for folks to understand with that. Another operation that's currently going on, and we thank the CAL FIRE team for this, is there's a damage inspection team that's out in the field. They're strong. There's 8 teams out there every day, and they're analyzing and walking and looking. And every day they provide us with data on the number of homes that were lost or damaged, number of commercial buildings that were lost or damaged. We hope to get an interactive map up in the next day or two so that all of you can go on and see what those places are either damaged or destroyed. We know this is important. We know part of the process is that people want to know, and we're going to do our best to get that out. And again, we're all in this together. This is what we're going to have to do. But I'm confident every day because I see the 150 people who show up at the Emergency Operations Center 7 days a week and have been coming there since December 4th when we had our power outage. I see how strong they work, and I know our community is just as strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I'd like to introduce Jim Shivers with Caltrans.
Good afternoon, everyone. The issue here in Santa Barbara County is a top priority for Caltrans, from our director and headquarters to our local management. It is a commitment of all of our employees to get Highway 101 open and State Route 192 open as well. Our crews are working 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, and they remain totally committed to this endeavor to reopen these highways. And I know that people think of us as a state agency, but we're a state agency that lives in this community. We raise children in this county. We attend local practices with parents and coworkers. We're invested in this community, and we're not going to leave this community. So again, this is a major undertaking for every agency, including ours. I wish I could say when Highway 101 will reopen. I can tell you that it will, but I don't have a specific date or time at the present. The issue for us is the massive amount of water on the highway. Once we can get that water to recede, we feel very confident that we can bring in the available equipment on standby, get down to the bottom, and move the heavy material out of the way. And again, our top commitment is to get Highway 101 open. It is part of our mission statement. It is something that we are truly working to see happen. We were happy to announce yesterday that southbound Highway 101 did reopen from State Route 150 to Padaro Lane. We hope to provide more updates on other openings as we can, but I just want to close by saying that there's a Caltrans that the public may see or think or have an imagination about, but if you work within our organization, you don't realize the commitment and the talent level in multiple departments within our agency, whether it's maintenance or construction or dispatch or planning or environmental. We fight the battle every day for the citizens of California, and we, like everyone else here, will be happy when we can say that things are back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'd like to introduce Captain Cindy Ponce, California Highway Patrol.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. The 101 still remains closed, northbound at the 150 and southbound at Milpas. Alternate forms of transportation to and from the Santa Barbara area are available through Amtrak on the train and through Island Packers and Condor Express on the ferries. And if you're using the alternate route from I-5, we ask that motorists use the 46 instead of the 166 because it has more capacity than the 166. Unfortunately, impatient drivers have caused head-on collisions by passing when it was unsafe on the 166. We have more CHP officers patrolling the 166 at this time, so please drive carefully and safely. Also be aware, northbound on the 101, north of our closure there at Olive Mill, the roadway is very slippery and muddy. Trucks that are coming out of the area are carrying mud and water and have it on their tires. So it's getting on the roadway, so please slow down and be very careful. We've had a few accidents there also, so we want you to drive cautiously. And we'd like to recognize the first responders who are working so hard on this mission. They are working in unprecedented, tragic conditions, yet they are so resilient and persevere through this difficult time. You should be so proud of your first responders in this county. And again, we just ask for your patience. We know that emotions are running really high right now, and people are really upset about the 101 being closed. We are too. We want it to be open because it has an effect on everyone. So please know that it is our number one priority to get the freeway open. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Ponce. I'd like to introduce Tom Fayram, Deputy Director for the Santa Barbara County Flood Control District.
Good afternoon. Today showed yet more improvements in our work in the Montecito and Carpentry areas. More channels are open, better mobility on our roadways, and now work in progress on our debris basins by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I was able to meet today with Colonel Gibbs, the commander of the LA District of the Corps of Engineers, who came to Santa Barbara to see firsthand the devastation. Colonel Gibbs viewed the disaster area and saw the combined efforts of county and other local agencies, the state, and now the federal government in action working together. Tomorrow, we will work on clearing creeks, roads, and debris basins, and we will continue until we're done. I'd like to close with a thank you to the agencies that were involved in the pre-storm disaster work that Mr. Lewin mentioned. Kevin Cooper with the BEAR team with the U.S. Forest Service, Los Padres. And Len Nielsen with the CAL FIRE work team, standing right there, my new friend. These individuals provided us timely information that without having that information, we could not have forecasted with any probability of what might happen. They worked day and night, and their efforts made a difference, and I want to thank them.
Thank you, Tom. I'd like to introduce Suzanne Grimacy, Santa Barbara County Behavioral Wellness.
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Grimacy. I work with the County of Santa Barbara Department of Behavioral Wellness. A community meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 16th at 4 p.m. at La Cumbre Junior High School, located at 2255 Modoc Road in Santa Barbara. Planning is continuing for a local recovery and assistance center, which is scheduled to tentatively open on January 17th for an extended period of time. We will have both weekday and weekend hours available to the community. A candlelight vigil will be held this evening in Carpinteria at 6 o'clock at the Seal Fountain. Another candlelight vigil will be held tomorrow from 5 until 6 p.m. at the Santa Barbara County Courthouse Sunken Gardens at 1100 Anacapa Street. Montecito's elected representatives are working together to organize this event. The elected officials participating include Santa Barbara County 1st District Supervisor Doss Williams, Santa Barbara Mayor Kathy Murillo, Santa Barbara 4th District City Council Member Kristen Snedden, Santa Barbara 4th District City Council, Assembly Member Monique Limon, State Senator Hannabeth Jackson, and Congress Member Salud Carbajal. Members of the faith community will also be present, and counseling services will be provided by the Santa Barbara County Emergency Operations Center and Hospice of Santa Barbara. The Family Assistance Center remains open through the opening of the local Recovery and Assistance Center and remains available for the community to come for support or to call toll-free, 833-688-5551. In closing, I would like to share a powerful quote made this morning by Rob Lewin, our director for the Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Management. We are either survivors or victims, and we get to decide which. I believe we are surely survivors. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'd like to introduce Susan Klein Rothschild, Deputy Director, Santa Barbara County Public Health Department. She'll be our last speaker today.
Good afternoon. Santa Barbara County's health officer has closed beaches from Gaviota to Carpinteria due to bacterial levels that continue to exceed standards. All ocean water in these locations should be considered contaminated, and no recreational activities or swimming should take place. This order does not include the sandy beaches themselves. Members of the public who are walking on the beaches should avoid debris. We know that people want to do something to help our community recover, like organizing beach cleanup processes. However, beach cleanup activities may present hazards. If the public is engaged in cleanup, they should use caution and consider the following recommendations. Wear steel-toed boots with steel shanks to protect from stepping on sharp objects. Wear thick protective gloves. Assure that they have facilities to thoroughly wash up with soap and water, not just hand sanitizer, when they complete activities. Do not open or touch any containers that could hold hazardous materials, things like fuel containers, propane, or pesticide. Please do not open them. Report suspicious containers to the Environmental Health Services hotline at 805-681-5538 and provide the date, time observed, and description of the container. Please know that in the days ahead, the public health and county parks and other agencies will be tackling the beach cleanup process together. We know it's important to our community, and we're proud to be part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. So we'll open it up to just a few questions. We ran over some time today, so let's just have a few questions. Tom.
We've heard a lot about the situation with the Montecito Water District facility. I wonder if anybody could speak to sanitary conditions.
Is there anybody that can speak to the Montecito Sanitary District? Yeah, Rob.
So the sanitary district in Montecito we've been in contact with them. We're helping them by providing them with some resources from the Emergency Operations Center through mutual aid, and that helps coming. They've hired a contractor that's going to be able to start from top to bottom and put that system back together. The treatment facility is intact. One of the concerns they have is the debris that has gone into the sewage system, all the effects on that within the system. We all know that it isn't just enough to have the water system back on. We have to make sure that the sanitation district is up as well before people can get back home.
Is it as badly damaged as the water system?
In a different way, but yes. The water system, of course, is damaged not just because of all the pipelines that broke on the supply side, but all of the destruction on the distribution side as well.
Another question? The woman in the back. Is there a chance that Highway 192 will be open before 101?
At the present time, we don't have any timetable on the reopening of State Route 192. Many of the bridges along that stretch of roadway have been inspected. They're in good condition. They're being used by emergency responders. We hope that when we get that roadway open, you may encounter some restrictions with that, But like US 101, I wish I could say we had a hard date to open, but I can't say that today.
You had a question, sir?
Could someone speak more specifically to what efforts are being made to clear debris ahead of another storm? Just specific numbers on the number of crews out there that are doing that, or the number of trucks that are out.
Tom, the question is number of crews that are actually working to clear the debris.
We have multiple creek channels that flow through the area. My latest report is we had 8 large excavators actually in the creek channels. And I would say that 2 days ago I passed by an area where there was no creek, and today I went by and the creek was fully restored by either our crews or the contract workers working for us. We are making great progress, and we have several days before that next storm, and the creek channels, we feel confident we'll have at least the ability to pass a base level flow. Debris basins are a challenge due to the enormity of the debris that's there, but that action, the effort doubles every day, and we will be making good progress in the week ahead.
Okay. We're going to take one last question.
Thank you. Along those lines, where is the debris going now? Is it going somewhere now that it wouldn't have otherwise because you're running out of room?
Question is where is the debris being taken?
Most of the debris out of the creek channels are being sidecast in place just to open it up. It's not being removed. Debris off of the roadways are going to multiple areas. Foothill Landfill, at the end of Ash Avenue and Goleta Beach as appropriate, and then other landfill areas that are both out of county and along some Caltrans right-of-ways. Those are the ones I know of, and always looking for more.
Okay, folks, that's going to conclude today's press conference. Again, just a reminder that Tuesday afternoon, in lieu of a press conference, there will be the community meeting at Lacumba Junior High, and that's on Modoc Road in Santa Barbara. That'll be at 4 o'clock, same time. And our next press conference will be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock, same location. Thank you.